Now, as we've been reporting, the G7 summit kicks off in Germany this weekend, and of course, a major focus will be Russia's war in Ukraine. Our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibbal, is in Munich, in the heart of all the action. He's joining us live on this broadcast. Siddhant, thanks so much for joining us. Now, you, as we've been telling our viewers, are reporting for us from Munich. You'll be telling us about all the developments as the summit gets underway. But my question to you right now is, what do you make of the US clarification that it has no ulterior motives for inviting India and other developing nations to the G7 summit, this naturally in connection to the fact that the Ukraine war is going to dominate the agenda?
Well, this was in response to a question in which we saw the spokesperson when it comes to the American spokesperson John Kirby talking about that when it comes to inviting India or any other developing countries, it's not trying to take them away from Russia. We know that this comment has come just few hours after India was there at the BRICS grouping, where we saw both Russia and China lashing at the West, but largely India talking about economic issues. But if we talk about India's invitation at the G7, this is not for the first time that India is at the G7. This is for the third time that Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be participating at the G7 summit. The first, of course, was 2019 in France, where, of course, the French president had invited the Indian Prime Minister. And India was first invited way back in 2003. The then Indian Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee going to France for the G7 summit. The Indian Prime Minister Manmohan Singh was at the G7 summit from 2005 to 2009. So there's a big history when it comes to India's association with G7. So it will be wrong, in fact, to say that when India is being sent an invite, it is perhaps to take India away from a certain bloc. That's not the case. And also remember that India is part of SCO grouping, the BRICS grouping, and of course being invited for G7 almost on a regular basis. Next year we will see Japan hosting the G7 summit in Hiroshima, and do expect Tokyo to extend a special invite to New Delhi, given how close both countries have a relationship with. So largely India's presence at the G7 is something that is historical, and something that will become indispensable with each passing year, given that almost all the countries who are members of the G7 have now very good relationship with New Delhi.
Absolutely, Siddhant. Thanks for those inputs, and we'll of course keep coming back to you for more insights once the summit gets underway. Thanks for joining us on WION. WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.